Tim, Wolves have entered the transfer market for the first time this summer.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise to see Andy Lonergan join from Fulham this week. 3-year contract or 2-year contract within a year in Wolves' favour. Kind of came out of nowhere really. They've been linked with another couple of keepers. But it's a good move, I think. 350 games of Championship experience. He's 32. But automatically becomes one of the oldest players in Wolves' squad. And I think that the roles between him and Akemi are more clearly defined than they were with Akemi and Martinez last year, where there's a lot of confusion about who's going to be the number one. And then obviously we saw Akemi and Martinez both dropped. Jackett was undecided about who his keeper was going to be for the season, where I think it's more clearly defined this year. Akemi will be the number one, but Lonergan will prove a very able backup, perhaps more in the mould that Thomas Kuszczak did a couple of years ago when he was brought in. So I think it's a good signing, and Wolves will move on to quite a few other targets now further up the field.
And another Fulham player linked as well.
Yeah, Matt Smith, striker Wolves have looked at in the past. They had a loan bid for him rejected last year. 6'6". In fact, they've been linked with quite a few tall strikers, Idrissa Silla, Nathaniel Julian as well, the French youngster from Le Havre. So you can see where Wolves are going. It's kind of player they didn't have last year, a bit of a target man, something different. But as long as it's not a player that they're just going to be lumping the ball up to, then I think it's someone that they do need and that can complement both Dicko and Mason. I see Silla and Smith as not so much as a direct rival to Dicko, but perhaps someone that he'll be playing alongside. So it's the kind of level that we're expecting Wolves to look at. Really, not a huge amount of money. Certainly not proven Premier League players or even proven Championship players. Really, certainly in the form of Silla and Smith. So we'll see. With Silla, I wouldn't expect a move to go through quite quickly. I think there's a couple of work permit issues there, and a lot of clubs interested in him. And Smith, well, it depends on whether Fulham want to let him go. Really, a bit of a mixed reaction among Fulham fans as to whether they want him to stay or not. He's got a good goal scoring record in League One, not so much in the Championship, but he hasn't really had enough starts to prove himself. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting couple of weeks to see who comes in on that front.
A lot of fans still keen on Tom Bradshaw. Any news on that one?
No, we know he's been looked at, but no news of a bid from Wolves. They've certainly scouted him and another couple of Walsall players in the last year or so. The maths kind of makes sense really. If you double what they're rumoured to be bidding for Smith, 750,000, Bradshaw rumoured to be worth about 1.5 million. Would make sense really, but it's not as simple as that. It's whether Wolves fancy him and whether he fits into the team. But certainly no news of a bid for him. And
then we're looking at some loans with a Middlesbrough player linked today.
Yeah, Adam Reach impressed deeply for Preston last season on loan for a season. 35 starts, I think he got in the Championship. Scored a few goals. Certainly impressed at Molineux, where he played a kind of a free role behind the striker. Very effective, but was mostly left wing throughout the season, but could also play left back. So it ticks a few boxes for Wolves. Wouldn't expect them to buy him. I mean, you never know, but we've been told 2 million minimum is what Middlesbrough would be wanting for him. He's got 3 years left on his contract at the Riverside. Very highly rated there. I think if Middlesbrough was still in the Championship, he'd be in their squad and maybe be looking to get into their team. But as they're in the Premier League, he's sort of surplus to requirements. But someone who's so talented that Middlesbrough might be reluctant to let him go permanently. So a loan deal would be ideal. Certainly with the fact that Wolves have got a couple of left wingers that are injured in Jordan Graham and Michael Zyro. He really would fit the bill. But there'll be a few clubs interested in him. Certainly Preston, he did very well there last year. They'd gladly take him back and could certainly offer him first team football throughout the whole of the season. Whether Wolves could do that with Graham coming back, I'm not sure. But it's certainly be one that they should be looking to pursue, in my opinion.
Well, things looking good. At least they're active in the transfer market, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of see them bringing in maybe 4 or 5 players this summer. They've already brought in a keeper. You think at least one striker, preferably 2, a left winger and a left back, and maybe a centre midfielder as well. People have called for a central defender to come in, but I think they're well stocked in that area. So it's all kind of budget dependent, really. We're not sure exactly of Kenny Jackett's budget, but if they're bidding 2.3 million for Silla, as has been reported, then they've certainly got a bit of money in the bank. Certainly got some Benicophobe money left in the bank. So it's good to see them being active. There's no emergency loan window next season, so it's all about planning the summer. It's all about getting in the players in as early as possible. It's something they didn't do last year. They didn't recruit well, and it cost them dearly. I think you can see where they're learning from the mistakes. They brought in 2 32-year-olds for the last 2 permanent transfers in Lonergan and Mike Williamson. So you can see them trying to redress the balance on that front. You can see the weaknesses in terms of positions in the squad as well. So I think they've identified where Wolves need to improve. It's not as simple as that, of course, but they're looking to get the business done early. plenty of weeks left for the start of the season, so we'll see how they get on.